Hi lovelies, I'm live again today and with much better hair and makeup I might add, which is ironic because yesterday I was like, we're not going to be flashy, we're not going to have any hair and makeup, and then I had an audition this morning so I had to get glammed up for that. So let's do a little less rambling and get right into it. Hello, welcome to today's live stream. I'm doing a whole series this week of short little chats with you where I share just a little something that's easy for you to try in order to simplify how you work, how you run your business, how you work as an entrepreneur. And the stuff that I'm talking about this week, it's not actually related to things like systems or processes or any of that sort of stuff. It's more about how you get yourself in kind of a mindset or a frame of mind to work less and do more without the hustle and without the rush and without feeling under the pump. I think there's so much we can do in terms of our entrepreneurial lives, in terms of making things just simpler and easier and feel better, and it's made a really big difference in my business and for my clients. So I wanted to share with you just a few little things this week that work for us. So I think it'll be fun. Yesterday we talked a little bit about things that I do to make work feel easier, and it was really just, brainstorming ways to make a task easier is the first step of every project I do. I think to myself, what could hold me back? What could make this difficult? How can I handle that? Or how can I avoid that problem? Before I start any new task, I sit down and I brainstorm, how can I make this as easy as possible? I also shared yesterday to commit to just 10 minutes of something if you're procrastinating. And I think I mentioned that in today's story as well. And then the last tip from yesterday's live stream, which you can go ahead and watch if you want the recordings here on Instagram. The last thing was develop a little pattern for the things that I do so that it's easy to just take one small step after the other. You can probably hear my dogs barking in the background. That is because somebody just went for a walk in our neighbourhood with their own dog. And for some reason, all of the neighbourhood dogs need to bark at each other when they do that. So if you can hear dogs barking in the background, that's what it is. They're fine, I promise. So today we're going to focus on the theme of making things feel nice. Making things feel a little bit nicer when you need to get work done. This is going to sound a little bit shallow, but it works so well. So whether you're working at home or in your own office, or if you're out on site somewhere, if you want to make work feel a little bit easier, a little bit less difficult, a little bit nicer, think in terms of how you can make yourself actually feel good in the moment when you are working. Now, here's what I mean by that. Little things that I do. I find that if I'm in a cozy environment, if I'm comfortable, if I feel good, if things feel relaxing, or sometimes I want them to feel super productive, but I always go by how I want things to feel, because I find that I procrastinate less when I feel good. So that's kind of the whole why behind this theory. And I'm wondering if you have felt that way too. Do you remember back in high school at the start of the year how excited you were to crack open that brand new exercise book, or open that brand new folder, or use those new pens and pencils for the first time? That kind of feeling, for the first few weeks of school every year, I was on it with things like note-taking and homework and stuff like that. And I think that has actually kept being a thing in my life now, because I've noticed that when I have tools that are really enjoyable to use, I tend to get more work done, or I tend to be more excited to jump into a project. So I have absolutely no problem stocking up on beautiful stationery or lovely little notebooks or notepads, or they don't have to be expensive. You can get really nice ones from Kmart or Target, but you can also get really luxurious versions of stationery as well. And I have no problem treating myself to that, because I'm more likely to want to get it out and use it. The same with note-taking tools like just pens or pencils. When you find a good quality pen, or a good quality pen set, or colors, or really nice pencil that feels good to write with, feels good to sharpen, it's easy to erase. When you have writing implements that feel really good to use, the world changes in terms of how excited you are to actually use them and get the work done. So for me, it's really about What tools can I use that feel good? Now, it's not just tools. Oh, actually, I should give a special mention to my MacBook. You know when you have a clunky computer or a really big desktop and it's kind of, it doesn't feel good to use. This guy feels really good to use. And it's not a new one. I think I bought mine in 2014. So it's pretty old by now, but it still works really well. Just a little key tapping. I don't know what it is, but it feels really good to use it. So I enjoy using it every day. Other things. Oh, okay. So in terms of feeling good, always the vibe of your surroundings, your environment. Now, this can change depending on what I'm actually working on, whether I'm doing something by myself or with a team member or a client or a colleague or a peer, whether I'm working on a collaboration. It's gonna depend on that. But I like to make sure that where I'm working feels really good as well. So maybe for example, when I'm podcasting, this is the room I record my podcasts in. There's nothing special about this room. This is my living room. I'm at my dining room table right now. I don't like to have a proper office in my home. I know a lot of people do. It's totally fine if you do. I don't like to have a workspace because then I feel like I have to work there. That sounds really weird, but whenever I've had a dedicated workspace in my home, my productivity just went down. I just never wanted to do it. So I record my podcast in my living room, and whenever I'm doing a podcast recording, you can't always see it, but I always have like a nice little glowy light in the background. I always have a really nice comfy cardigan on my lap or a blanket. I have a nice cup of coffee in a lovely mug next to me. I also put hand cream. I put some really nice hand cream on before I go ahead and record. I light a nice candle. All these little tiny things that make a really big difference to how I feel just before I record. And I think that can come across sometimes in my interviews or in my recordings is I sound a lot more mellow, or I sound a lot more warm and friendly than I would if I was in a stark, officey, traditional space. So yeah, I like the vibe. I also do a lot of work from my laptop, from my bed. I used to call it my boffice, my bedroom office, but it just sounds really horrible. But yeah, I love to work from bed. I love to go under the covers, put lots of pillows behind me, have a special cushion that I rest my laptop on, and just, be super comfortable. In the summer, I will often be on my bed, not in my bed, and I'll have like a little lightweight blanket on top. I don't know what it is. I feel amazing. It's like my bedroom at home is kind of like my haven. It's the place that I go to feel comfortable, to escape to. So I think it carries on there. It's a nice little comfortable, soft furnished room, and I love being in there. Other places that I like to work at. I love to go to, we have a couple of local libraries around here. One's about 5 minutes away, one's 10, and there's another one about 20 minutes away that all feel really nice to work in. I mean, libraries are always really nice. They're nice and quiet and there's always good space, but we have a really modern one near my house, and then we have a really, not old-fashioned, but kind of a more, I don't know how to explain it, but the building is older, and so the feel and the vibe that you get when you work from it is different to the modern one near my house. And sometimes I'm looking for a different vibe, so I'll choose the library that I work at based on that. Same goes for cafes. I love a good cafe with lots of space and lots of plants and fresh air and places where I can plug my laptop in. There's a couple of places near where I live that I can go to and work at for a couple of hours and feel really productive, and there's just something about the buzz of the cafe or the smell of the coffee or the fact that I can treat myself to a really nice cup of tea or a snack or something like that. Same goes for restaurants. Every now and again on a Monday, I love to go out and pick a waterfront restaurant, and I don't necessarily go out for anything really flashy, but I might, get a couple of little plates of food and maybe a glass of wine or a cup of tea or a really nice mocktail or something like that, or even just a soft drink in a pretty glass. But I'll go to a waterfront restaurant near where I live. We have lots of really beautiful ones here. And I will take an entrepreneurial book that I'm reading, and I will have what I like to tell myself is a businessy lunch. And I also take a little notebook and a pen and paper, and I find I get some of my best business ideas when I go and take a long lunch on a Monday in a beautiful area and really enjoy a couple of hours to myself. And yeah, I get, you know how people say they get their best ideas in the shower because you're really relaxed and you feel good? Same sort of concept. So I go out to a nice lunch, I have a really relaxed time, but I take an inspiring book that I want to read, and I take a little notepad and pen. Sometimes I just get the best ideas for products that I can make and sell, or for launches that I've got coming up, or I do my planning for the next 90 days. Because yeah, when you're in that sort of vibe, you get your best ideas. So that's what I do. So yeah, sometimes, I also like to work from our pool. We have a pool in the backyard and a nice little cabana set up. You probably saw me do my live from there yesterday. And then I feel like I'm on holidays and everything is relaxed and nice. And we have a beautiful table up there that I can work at with my laptop and plug it in. Or sometimes I go on the pool lounge and just work on my lap. That's me typing on my laptop from there. So yeah, it might be a cafe, a library, a restaurant, up by the pool, or from my bedroom, or with a lot of nice feeling things in my lounge room. But basically, long story short, I make the environment feel as good as possible. So to wrap up, if you are feeling like you want to get more done in less time, make it feel as good as possible. Allocate the time that you want to use. This is why I only work a couple of hours a day, and then I go relax, or I go do something fun, or I do something for me, or I hang out with my family, or I read a book, or I do a puzzle, or I sometimes I just get housework done. But yeah, allocate the time. Make sure that you feel good in the environment you're in. Make sure that you're using tools that are enjoyable to use, and I think you will find that your productivity will skyrocket as a result, because you're enjoying what you're doing a little more. Anyway, that's it for today. That's our live stream. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about how you are actually doing your work, as in what you're actually creating, and how you can use that to simplify your business. So it's going to be a fun chat tomorrow as well. I hope you're enjoying the live streams this week. I'm doing one every day, maybe not on Thursday, definitely not on the weekends. Basically, I'm doing 4. I'm doing 4 short live streams this week, and the theme is all about simplifying business. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I think it's a really good focus for this month. I'm also giving a presentation at Julie C. Butler's Build Your Beautiful Business Online Summit at the end of the month. So there's a link in my bio. You can get a free ticket for that if you want to. And that's where I'm giving a more detailed presentation on how to create content in a way that feels good for you, so that you can spend just 30 minutes a week on creating your content, do it in a way that feels good, that resonates with how you work, and you will find that you will get so much more traction out of that content than you would if you were doing things the hard way, or doing things the way other people do them. If you want to know more about that, I go into a lot more detail into that presentation, and it makes a lot more sense. And then, yeah, it's Julie and I chatting about that topic, and there's slides to go with it. It's a bit more of an official talk or a training, and it's totally free if you want to do it. And there's also a bunch of other amazing speakers at this summit, all talking about ways to build your beautiful business in a way that feels good for you. So if you want to take part in that summit as an attendee, go ahead and click the link in my bio for your ticket. And yeah, I'm excited to share that with you. It'll be really fun. If you have any questions about the summit, or if you have any questions about simplifying business in general, reach out. You can send me a DM anytime, and I will get back to you as soon as I see it. Okay, I'm going to go have some lunch. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.